So, this is my 2026 Formula 1 season predictions and season preview as well. Obviously, so it's going to start off with a season preview before we get into the nitty gritty in terms of season predictions. And once again, it's a new era, Formula 1, and obviously new additions, new cars as well. And let's get straight into it. So the 2026 FIA Formula 1 World Championship is a planned motorways championship Formula 1 cars, which will be the 77th running of the Formula 1 World Championship. It is recognised by the Federation Italiana the Automobile FIA, the governing body of the international motorsport, as the highest class competition for open wheel racing cars. The championship will be contested over 24 Grand Prix held around the world. It will begin in March and it will end in December. Obviously, it did used to be November, didn't it? But now it ends in December. Drivers and teams are scheduled to compete for the titles of the World Drivers' Champion and the World Constructors' Champion as well. Respectively, Lando Norris is the reigning World Drivers' Champion after winning his first world title last year, while McLaren and Mercedes are the reigning World Constructors' Champions after done back-to-back in the last couple of years, winning the last couple of Constructors' Championship as well. The 2026 season will feature a major set of regulation changes with revised power unit configuration and new active aerodynamics. Audi, who acquired Saudi in 2024, will enter as a works team with its own power unit, while Cadillac is set to make its debut in the F1 World Championship using Ferrari power units. Rest in peace to Cadillac for using their power units. Marking the first time an 11th team has competed since 2016. Honda, through its Honda Racing Corporation and Sustain, will enter into an exclusive works team agreement with Aston Martin, so they will be the engine to Aston Martin and will supply them with their own power unit. After ending his current relationship with Red Bull Racing, Ford will return to the sport for the first time since 2004, supporting Red Bull powertrains and supplying power units to Red Bull Racing, and obviously Red Bull's sister team, Racing Bulls. Renault, which is so sad to see, Renault will no longer be an engine supplier in Formula 1 as Alpine have switched to Mercedes power units. So the 24 Grand Prix, Australian Grand Prix 8th of March, Chinese Grand Prix 15th of March, Japanese Grand Prix, which will be the third race of the season, 29th of March. Then we head to Bahrain for the 12th of April. Then we head to Saudi Arabia on the 19th of April. Then we go to the Miami Grand Prix, 3rd of May. And then, I think that's, 3 weeks after that, Canadian Grand Prix, 24th of May. Then Monaco Grand Prix, 7th of June. Then we got a Barcelona Catalonia Grand Prix, 14th of June. I'll explain that in a minute. Austrian Grand Prix, 28th of June. The British Grand Prix, 5th of July. The Belgian Grand Prix, the 19th of July. Hungarian Grand Prix, the 26th of July. The Dutch Grand Prix, the 23rd of August. Italian Grand Prix, which is in Monza, 6th of September. Then, of course, we do actually have a Spanish Grand Prix, which will be held in Madrid for the first time, not Barcelona, 13th of September. Azerbaijan Grand Prix on a Saturday, due to Azerbaijan's Remembrance Day. Singapore Grand Prix, 11th of October. United States Grand Prix, 25th of October. Mexico Grand Prix, 1st of November. Brazilian Grand Prix, 8th of November. Then, of course, we go to the Las Vegas Grand Prix, which also will be a Saturday race, which I will explain in a minute. Qatar Qualifying 3, 29th of November, and then we obviously end up in Abu Dhabi on the 6th of December. So the Spanish Grand Prix will move from the Circuit de Barcelona Catalonia to a new street circuit in Madrid, built around the IFEMA. The circuit, Barcelona Catalonia, will continue to host a race under the name Barcelona Catalonia Grand Prix, while the other Grand Prix, the other Spanish Grand Prix, the Madrid Grand Prix, will be named now as the original Spanish Grand Prix. The Emilia Romagna Grand Prix in Imola was discontinued after their contract to host their race until 2025 was not renewed, which is so sad to see. Yes, we will. Really sad to see. I will miss that Grand Prix. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix, like I said, will be held on the Saturday following a request from the promoter and relevant government stakeholders to commemorate the Azerbaijan Remembrance Day. The 2026 obviously calendar comprises 24 Grand Prix as with the two previous seasons. The Chinese, Miami, Canadian, British, Dutch and Singapore Grand Prix will feature the sprint weekend. Will feature the sprint format. Singapore Grand Prix in sprint format, okay, that's going to be interesting. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I just don't think that will work, to be honest with you. But yeah, now onto the regulation changes for 2026. The Formula One cost for team operational expenditures was increased from $135 million to $215 million. This is primarily due to information adjustments and inclusion of costs that were previously exempted from the cap. Key expenses remain an outside cost cap include driver salaries, the salaries of the three highest paid team members, marketing and hospitality costs as well. And also infrastructure investments as well. A separate cost cap for power unit manufacturers, which was introduced in 2023, was also increased from $95 million to $130 million from 2026 onwards to support the development of the new hybrid engines. New power unit regulations are due to be introduced in 2026. The new power units will still produce over 1,000 bhp 750 kW, although the power will come from different sources. The engine regulations will see the turbocharged 1.6 litre V6 internal combustion engine configuration used since 2014 retained. However, the MGU-H, which is the motor generator unit heat, which has also been used since 2014, will be removed, while the MGU-K motor generator unit kinetic output will increase to 470 bhp 350 kW from 160 bhp to which is 120 kW. The power output of the internal combustion part of the power unit will decrease to 530 bhp 400 kW from 850 kW. Fuel flow rates will be measured and limited based on energy rather than the mass of the fuel itself. The power units will use a fully sustainable fuel being developed by Formula One. The power units are expected to recover twice as much electrical energy as before. During the commission meeting in early 2025, it was agreed to explore for tax-up options for power unit development for manufacturers who may have fallen behind the competitors in the initial development phase. The Commission also suggested that a relevant advisory committee look at whether the energy deployment of power units should be reduced in race trim from the planned 470 PSP 350 kW after some teams became concerned about the possibility of their cars running out the deployable energy in a race. On 6th of June 2024, the 2026 car concept was revealed. The concept featured a new active dynamics in both the front and rear wings. The concept saw the inversion of the drive reduction system, which is the DRS, as you all know, being replaced by the new overtake mode, initially referred as manual override mode. The wheelbase was reduced from 360 centimeters, which is 140 inches, to 340 centimeters, which is 130 inches. The width was reduced from 200 centimeters, which is 79 inches, to 190 centimeters, which is 75 inches. And the minimum mass was reduced by 30 kilograms, which is 66 pounds. The tyres' width will also be reduced by 2.5 centimeters, 0.98 inches in the front pair, and by 3.0 centimeters, 1.2 on the rears. The floor will have reduced ground effect to ease the issue cars have suffered with poison. In October 2024, FIA announced that the downforce reduction of the 2026 cars compared to the 2022-25 generation cars would be yet then initially proposed for performance and safety reasons. In the month, the FIA confirmed that the reduction in downfall from the 2026 generation of cars would be around 15%. This is a significantly smaller reduction than the originally drafted regulations, which the FIA claimed had given the 2026 cars downforce reduction of over 40% compared to their predecessors. This will make the 2026 cars approximately 2 seconds slower a lap than the 2022-2025 generation of cars, rather than the 4 seconds slower than initially envisaged. On 17th December 2025, Formula One announced the official terms describing features of the 2026 car. The term boost mode will be used to describe the normal deployment of the energy recovery system, ERS, to defend or attack. Active aerodynamics, or simply active aero, to describe the movable front and rear wing elements. In both higher and lower trad downforce configuration, recharge to describe when a car has an extra energy, and overtake mode to describe a mode where extra energy stored is used in order to help one driver overtake another, but only if the driver is behind within 1 second of the one ahead. Similar to pre-2026 DRS deployment rules. We'll just got 3 more regulations, and then we'll be straight into the predictions, people. The regulations for the front impact structure, FIS, will be updated with the intent to enhance safety during classes. A 2-stage FIS design has been introduced to address previous issues where the structure detached near the survival cell after a primary collision, even if vehicle vulnerable to further impacts. Side intrusion protection, particularly around the cockpit and the fuel cell, will also be improved. These upgrades These upgrades aim to shield critical areas of the car to and side-by-side liaisons while maintaining the vehicle's weight. The wall hoop strength will be improved with standard loads increased from 16 grams to 20 grams, aligning with safety standards of other single-seater series. The load testing requirements will be raised from 141 kN to 167 kN. To further safeguard drivers and traffic marshals, lateral safety lights will be mandated. These lights will display the identity recovery system ERS status of the car when it's stopped on track, providing visual indicators of potential electric risks, especially in emergency situations. The rules surrounding the permanent driver numbering system introduced in 2014 will be modified. Drivers will be permitted to change their race number during their careers pending permission from the FIA and any past drivers that may have used a requested number in order to discourage teams even excess amounts of exposed black carbon on the cards in order to save waste. FIA will mandate that a minimum of 55% of the surface area when viewed from the side and above must be covered by painted or stickered EVs. And finally, the final regulation: driver coolant vest will be mandated when the FIA declares a heat hazard during the race weekend prior to 2026. The coolant vest was optional. Additionally, the vest will undergo a redesign for 2026. Stewards will have the option to initiate a review based on new evidence. Under the previous version of ISC, a competitor had to submit a right review request for any decision to be reviewed. The option for competitors to submit a right of review remains in place. Additionally, an out of competition stewards panel will be introduced for time sensitive decisions that cannot wait until the next event. Right, finally, we can now get onto the season predictions and start off then with 11th place. I have done for the U team in Formula 1. I've done for Cadillac. Obviously, Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez will be driving the Cadillac car for the season, and the use of one, the use of these regulations as well. They will be on the back foot, Cadillac, as expected. With being a new team, they are always going to be on the back foot going into the season. But I don't think they were easy for this bottom. I think it will be quite competitive in terms of who will finish bottom, in my opinion. I think they made that off to a slow start, but I think second half of the season, when you develop the car, I think Cadillac will get better and better. Especially, I think they will have a strong end to the season, in my opinion. And end of the day, it's two experienced drivers as well in Bottas and Perez, who've been great number two drivers at their respective teams at Mercedes and Red Bull. Great to see both drivers back as well. I think Perez needed a break, didn't he? And you know what? Actually, both of them have had a break, haven't they? So good to see them back. Unfortunately, I just don't feel the car will be active, unfortunately, especially for the start of the season. So I think Cadillac will finish 11th, and I think Bottas and Perez, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, I think they will finish around 18th and 19th for both of them. I do think they will get in the points, both of them. They will get in the points, whether that's in the sprint race or the race. But I think the points are more likely to come second half of the season, where the car will obviously get better as the season goes on, you would think. So I think they'll finish in the 11th. But it's just so good to see a UF1 team, isn't it? It's that freshness on the grid, isn't it? Seeing a UF1 team on the grid. And by the way, their EV, by the way, they've done the best EV this season. Cadillac absolutely love that EV. Up next in 10th place, I've done for Red Bull sister team Racing Bulls. I don't think they'll be as good as last season Racing Bulls, again with the new radiators, and especially with the warm power units, which are done being made by Red Bull. Are Racing Bulls really going to get any priority in that? No. Red Bull are going to have most of the priority in making their own engines, and Liam Lawson, I think Liam Lawson will get the best out of the car, because I do rate Liam Lawson, to be fair. Especially, he does well around circuits, like the circuits of the Americas, doesn't he? He does well around them sort of circuits, where there's a lot of corners, a lot of turns as well. Yeah, the S's turn as well. So that's where Liam Lawson will do best, in my opinion, the circuit of the Americas. Arvid Yimpiad, obviously was in F2 last season. For me, I think he's quite fortunate to get the seat, in my opinion, but at the same time, he's part of the Red Bull Town Ernie, so he was always done there a seat ahead of Leandro Foronori, who I felt should have got the seat in F1 because he is the F2 champion. So I've always said this every season: whoever wins the F2 title should be in F1 next season, the season after, in my opinion. So, but it's a hard one with Yimpiad, isn't it? It's a hard one. He can either be a Chad Doohan, or he might actually do quite well, Yimpiad, from out of nowhere. But yeah, in terms of Drivers' Championship, I think they will finish in 10th in the Constructors. But like I said, I think it'll still be competitive down there, though. But I think Liam Lawson will get the best out of the car, and I think Lawson will finish 16th, while Yimpiad will finish 21st, in my opinion. I think Yimpiad's going to struggle to get points, in my opinion. While Liam Lawson, I don't see Liam Lawson struggling to get points. Quite an aggressive driver as well, which is what I like, to be fair. So I think they'll finish in 10th. In 9th place, I done for Haas. I done for Ollie Berman. Again, I think it's going to be quite similar to last season for Haas, where they don't struggle in qualifying, but in the race, they will have the race car, the Haas drivers. I'm not sure if Esteban Ocon will get as much priority this time, because I thought it was quite equal last year with Berman and Ocon. Obviously, Berman's just coming out on top, especially with his talent. Ollie Berman's so good, by the way. He is so good. So good, Ollie Berman. He is the next driver to take over at Ferrari, in my opinion, Ollie Berman. It's a matter of time, isn't it? Matter of time. We've seen it when Charles occurred, didn't we? When he was at Sauber. It was only a matter of time before he joined Ferrari. Something the same with Ollie Berman. I can see Ollie Berman joining Ferrari come the end of the season, in my opinion. Come the end of the season. Esteban Ocon, I think he'll struggle more in qualifying compared to Berman. Ollie Berman, very quick driver, especially in that Haas car as well. And Esteban Ocon, I just feel as the years go on, I feel he's on the decline, isn't he, Esteban Ocon? Still a good number 2 driver for me. Still definitely a good number 2 driver for Haas. But I feel he may struggle to get points as well. But who knows? But Ollie Berman, he won't struggle to get points. Ollie Berman, it's just a fantastic race driver, and always seems getting the points, especially when it comes to the race, doesn't he? Ollie Berman, such a huge talent. But yeah, I think it'd be the same as last season for Haas, where they will struggle in qualifying, but they will have the race car, in my opinion. In 8th place, I've done for Audi. I think they'll finish in 8th in the Constructors' Championship Audi, and I think Bortoleto will finish 15th, and Nico Hulkenberg will finish 17th. And then Bortoleto, he's going to get better and better, just like Ollie Berman did last year. Bortoleto, I think this is the season where we'll see like an Ollie Berman like season like last season with Bortoleto. We saw that with Bortoleto in the second half of last season, getting better and better, stronger and stronger as a driver. He's one to watch this year, Bortoleto. And I think he'll be up there with Berman in terms of chancing for 14th, 15th in the Drivers' Championship. I think both of them will get in the points as well. Nico Hulkenberg, he'll get in the points in and there, Nico Hulkenberg, but I just don't think he'll consistently get in the points like Bortoleto, in my opinion. And it's 50-50 with Audi, isn't it? Yeah, to see how they'll do this year. It is 50-50 with Audi with their own engine as well. Obviously, Binotto, the former Ferrari team principal, is over there now as well. So yeah, I think 8th place is a fair shout for Audi. I think it's a fair shout. I actually think they will be battling with Alpine for 7th. I can really see that. I can see that, to be honest with you. So I think Audi will finish 8th, and Bortoleto, I think Bortoleto will get the end with a seat to a better team come the end of the season, in my opinion. So yeah, I think Audi will finish in 8th. In 7th place, I have already mentioned them. I've done for Alpine. Obviously, got the Mercedes engine, which will be a massive help for Alpine. Obviously, they had problems with reliability, didn't they? The last few seasons with that Renault engine as well. So Alpine will get even better, especially with reliability with that Mercedes engine. I think Perdazi is going to take over this team, in my opinion. I think Perdazi is going to do all the work. Perdazi, very underrated driver, very underrated. Perdazi will store all the points for me in that Alpine car. Franco Colapinto, I think he'll get replaced during the season. Just rinse and repeat every season with Alpine in terms of their second driver. I think it'll be the same as last year, where Colapinto will feel the pressure, just like Jack Doohan did. And obviously, Jack Doohan, I thought it was quite hard to get rid of Jack Doohan, because I thought you should have given him at least a summer break. Let's see if he can turn it around. I will still say the same about Colapinto. Give him to the summer break, performing, and they'll get rid of him, and there'll be options there like Mick Schumacher, who's without a seat, Paul Allen as well, who's without a seat as well. So that's where I think Alpine will look at, in my personal opinion. But yeah, overall, I think this is going to be a one-man team in terms of Perdazi. I think Perdazi's going to store all the points for me if they do get the points for Alpine. They'll be better. They will be better with reliability though, compared to the Renault engine. And I think Alpine will finish 7th, and I think Perdazi will finish 11th, and I think Colapinto will finish bottom of the Drivers' Championship, in my opinion. Because Colapinto, for me, I just think he's been another Nick de Vries for me. Been another Nick de Vries where he had a short impact, but he's not done enough long term for Formula One, in my opinion. In 6th place, I done for Williams, who have prepared for this year's radiations, who did prepare for this year's radiations last year. I think it'd be quite similar to last year for Williams, where this time I think they will get on the podium consistently. Williams this time, I can see them then on podium Vinces this time. Williams more consistently. But I feel Williams, for me, I think the best Williams can finish is 5th or 6th. I think it'll be them and Aston Martin battling each other for 5th and 6th place. Even though I do think both of their cars will be much better than last year, in my opinion. I think both teams got potential of a race winning car. in these upcoming years, in my opinion, for both teams. But yeah, I think it's one step at a time for both of them. And I think Carlos Sainz will finish in 10th, Albon will finish in 12th in the Drivers' Championship. I think Alex Albon for me is more of a qualifying car for me. Alex Albon, he'll be more quicker in qualifying, while Carlos Sainz is more of a race driver. I actually think it's a good mix, to be fair. Because you got Albon who will do well in qualifying, and you got Carlos Sainz who will do better in the race than Alex Albon, in my opinion. So obviously Albon will still get in the points, but Carlos Sainz, he is more of a race driver than a qualifying driver for me. While Alex Albon's more of a qualifying driver than a race driver, in my opinion. So, but yeah, it's a good mix, good team as well, and I think they'll finish in 5th place. In 5th place, I don't think Aston Martin, Adrian Newey is now the team principal at Aston Martin, which is the right decision for me. But the thing is, what do you call a team principal? What does that even mean? Yeah, honestly. So Adrian Newey won't be doing all that media stuff, all that media nonsense. I think he'll leave that to another team member, to be honest with you. And I think Adrian Newey would have employed people who he trusts to work with the car as well. So Aston Martin definitely a team to watch. I know people don't be judged, and I know people don't say, yeah, but look at them in pre-season testing. Oh, I mean, come on, people. Are we really judging teams of pre-season testing? I mean, judging teams of pre-season testing is like me. It's like a person doing well in the driver's tests, mock tests, but failing the real tests. That's what it is. That's all pre-season testing is. It's a mock test. It's a mock driving test. It doesn't mean anything. A lot of teams will be sandbagging. A lot of teams will be sandbagging. A lot of teams, the thing is, a lot of teams will either be focusing on lap times, focusing on mileage, and try and get as many yachts as they can in. They're not under full throttle in pre-season testing. Come on now, come on. Compared to the season, so this is why are people getting carried away by Ferrari being quickest in pre-season testing? Ferrari been quickest in pre-season testing for how many years now, and still been a shithole of a team. So come on now, come on, wake up, people. Stop judging teams of pre-season testing. Yeah, Mercedes. I understand that you judge Mercedes of pre-season testing, but come on. Adrian Newey, he's a clever man as well. Adrian Newey, he's not going to say, oh yeah, we're going to be the quickest car on the grid. Yeah, Ferrari is saying. I already know Ferrari will regret saying that now. Ferrari will regret saying that. Oh yeah, we're the quickest car. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? And by the way, they're not. They're not the quickest car. They won't be the quickest car. So, and Adrian Newey, he does it so well. He does it so well, Adrian Newey. He did it at Red Bull. He did it at his previous teams where he'll say, "Oh, we're competing on the back foot. We're competing on the back foot." Gives other teams hope. It gives other teams a bit of hope, and then all of a sudden, Aston Martin have a good car. Come on, Adrian Newey news. Adrian Newey knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, Adrian Newey. He's stood for the PR. He's stood with the PR. Yeah, this is what every team should be saying. Every team should be passing the parcel, saying, "Nah, we're not. Nah, mate, we're not quickest at all." It's all mind games, people. It's all mind games. We won't know who will win the championship until after 12 races. Yes, we will. But obviously, this is before the season, so you have to do season predictions on what you think will happen. So, and Fernando Alonso still going. It's mad that he's still down in Formula 1. And yeah, again, I think they've got the right team for me, the right pairing. Jan Stroll staying as number 2. Lawrence Stroll just said to Aidan Newey, you can take over. You can take over the team. And I think that's the right pairing for me. Fernando Alonso is the far better driver. There's no point comparing the two drivers. Fernando Alonso should get all the priority, in my opinion. And Fernando Alonso is still a very quick race driver, even for his age. And still a very good race driver for his age as well. Look, I'm not saying he's going to win a world championship. He's definitely not done being title contention. But Aidan Newey, we all know Aidan Newey, he will try and build a potential race winning car for Aston Martin. And that's what we want to see. We want to see Alonso win a Grand Prix again. How good would that be? And by the way, this will not be the current team. This won't be the team for the long term for me. I don't see Alonso being here long term. Let's see what Alonso can do in the Aidan Newey car, and then Aidan Newey will try and wait for Max Verstappen to become available, and then he'll go after Max Verstappen for Aston Martin. Jan Stroll won't be leaving Aston Martin while his dad is there. So, but yeah, I think Jan Stroll is the perfect number 2 driver for me. I think he's the perfect number 2 driver. And but yeah, I still think it will be. I believe 3 teams are battling for 6th, 5th, and 4th: Williams, Aston Martin, and Ferrari, in my opinion. And people will be upset about me putting Ferrari 4th, but I'm not being fooled. I'm not being fooled. In my opinion, I am not being fooled at all. Like I said, I think Ferrari will finish 4th. Charles Leclerc will finish 6th. Hamilton will finish 8th. And I think Lewis Hamilton will retire at the end of the season, in my opinion. I think he'll retire at the end of the season. I'm not being fooled. I'm not being fooled by the pre-season testing results. Cars are on different setups. Some teams will be sandbagging. And what is the point? Like I said, it's like pre-season in football testing. Testing F1 is like football in pre-season. So did everyone? So when Liverpool lost all their games in summer 2019 pre-season, when they got thrashed off Nappy, so everyone said, oh yeah, that's Liverpool not winning the league, and we all know what happened after that. Liverpool went on to win the league. So we can't judge teams off pre-season testing. We just can't, people. I know Ferrari fans are so desperate. They're so desperate because they've been in the mud for the last 2 decades since they last won a Drivers' Championship and last won a Constructors' Championship. And they don't be in the mud again this year. I'm sorry, they don't be in the mud again. I am not getting fooled by pre-season testing. I'm not. Look, I'll hold my hands up. I'll hold my hands up if I'm one, but I am not normally one in Ferrari every year. Because Ferrari are Ferrari every year. And Ferrari's standards should be to win both titles for me. Should be to win both titles. And Fred Vasseur, he's nowhere near team principal. Nowhere near good enough. He would be good enough. He would be good enough if he had a fucking good team around him. If he had a good team around him. Fred Vasseur wanted Aidan Newey. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe Fred Vasseur wanted the best for Ferrari. He wanted Aidan Newey. But El Khan decided to go for Lewis Hamilton. Decided to go for all this fancy lineup. And by the way, can people stop with all this media attention about Lewis Hamilton, Kim Kardashian, fucking dating? Who cares? Who yeti cares? It's his life. That's his life. That's his personal life. Who yeti cares? Who yeti cares? All we care about is for Lewis Hamilton to step back to his best on the racing track and win Grand Prix and win his 8th world title. I would love to see that, personally. I would love to see that. That's why I've been critical of Hamilton. That's why I've been critical. That's why I've been constructive criticising Hamilton, because I know he's better than this. I know he's better than this. But the problem is, you've got two drivers who want to be priority and number one. I'm sick of saying this every year. And I'm sick of teams done for all these fancy lineups. Does not work. It ends in tears in the end. And we saw what happened with McLaren last year. They almost fucking lost it. Almost lost it to Max Verstappen. Because both drivers were taking points of each other. So again, this pairing is not gonna work. You can't tell me Lewis Hamilton's gonna outdo a better race driver than him and Charles Leclerc at this current stage of their careers. Charles Leclerc is better than Lewis Hamilton. Yes, put that down on the table now. Charles Leclerc is better than Lewis Hamilton in terms of their current careers now, at the current stage. At the current stage of their careers. And by the way, Hamilton was teammates with Jason Button, by the way. Don't forget about that on McLaren, and that didn't work either. When you have two world champions as wanting to be priority. Yeah, Jason Button was like, oh my god, it was an absolute dream. Button will say it's an absolute dream to be teammates with Hamilton. It doesn't work. Doesn't work, people. Stop this fancy lineup, honestly. But yeah, Ferrari, there won't be anywhere near chance for the title. Not in my opinion, anyways. Not in my opinion. I do finish between three teams in terms of chancing for the Constructors' Championship for me. Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc is that good of a driver, but he's not won a world championship. He's not won a world championship for a reason. Because, yes, the team is to blame for why he's not won a world championship, but he's also to blame as well. Because he is mistake prone, Charles Leclerc. Quick driver, very quick racing driver, but he always seems to crumble, doesn't he? He has that moment where he does crumble, Charles Leclerc. So, who's talent? Definitely a who's talent, but it'd be nowhere near winning the world title. He would still stay at Ferrari, in my opinion. He's part of the Ferrari PR team as well. Or it's a bit like McLaren. It's a bit like McLaren with Ferrari. Ferrari and McLaren, I can't believe what they've become now in terms of the PR. All the PR. All this interviewing each other after every race. What the hell is all this all about? Oh, Ferrari, they're done with the next team around the campfire like McLaren. This time, with Fred Garcia singing nursery rhymes, and Leclerc and Hamilton hugging each other around the campfire, Stu cutting in the middle. So we'll have two campfires this year with McLaren and Ferrari. But the only problem is McLaren actually have won both titles, and they're actually winners. So unlike Ferrari at the moment. So El Khan, he's been a massive problem for Ferrari. He has been a massive problem, but so has the whole team. The whole team's still a mess. And Ferrari, this Ferrari done me Ferrari for me. Fourth place, in my opinion. Nothing's gonna change. And if let's say Ferrari finished second, what does second? If Ferrari finishes second in the constructors, people will come at me saying, "Oh, you put them fourth." And by the way, second is first place user, so it's still with me. It's still the same for me. Up next in third place, I have done for the defending champions McLaren, and actually finally, like I said with Lewis Hamilton, he does need to retire for me. For me, Hamilton is finished as a driver. He is finished at a top team. So I've said this for how many years now? And who predicted Hamilton to Ferrari? I did. Because it's the final paycheck for him. Hamilton needs to retire. And the thing with Hamilton is he'd be so good as a team principal. He'd be so good, Hamilton. He'll know how what goes into a good car as well, Hamilton. So that's the next step of his career for me, for Hamilton. But yeah, third place, I don't think McLaren, defending Constructors Champions, defending champions of both titles. I think there will be a drop off. I think there'll be a slight drop off because it's new radiations. They still don't have the Mercedes engine, so they still don't have the quickest engine. I still think McLaren will be in the battle with Mercedes and Red Bull for race wins. I still think they will get a couple of race wins, McLaren, but I don't think they'll get as many race wins as last season for me, McLaren. I don't think they'll get as many race wins. McLaren, it's either second or third for McLaren because I think they'll be bound for Red Bull for second. It all depends how Isaac Hadjar does at Red Bull, doesn't it, as a number 2. But so far, number 2 drivers at Red Bull don't tend to do well, do they? But obviously, we'll get on to Red Bull in a minute. McLaren, third place. I think Norris will finish in 4th. I think Piastri will finish in 5th. And I do think Oscar Piastri will leave at the end of the season. I don't think Piastri inside is happy at McLaren. And I don't blame him either. I don't blame him. Because of the team orders that happened at McLaren in the past. Piastri would have been raging inside. And they all like to play this around the campfire act at McLaren. Piastri, he's done. He is done, people. Even at the end of the season. And also Piastri, I think Piastri will. I'm going to say this right now. Lando Norris will not win another world title if he's at McLaren. Oh, yes, I see. Nah, that's a bit of a bold statement, isn't it? Depends who Norris' teammate is. If Norris has a good teammate that will be happy to play number 2, then yeah, Norris definitely got the potential to win another world title. Depends on the speed of the cars, who has the quickest car and all that. But Piastri, I think Piastri needs to leave McLaren to win a world title, in my opinion. Once Piastri leaves McLaren, a lot of teams will be after him. Aston Martin be after him. Imagine him at Aston Martin with Lance Stroll as a teammate. Whoa, there we go. Piastri would love that. Piastri is a future world champion. Obviously, despite he was leading last season, it just went downhill in the end for him. But he'll learn from that. Piastri will learn from that, and he needs to leave McLaren. Let's be real. He needs to leave McLaren. It's not his fault. That he wanted to join McLaren. It's Zak Brown's fault. Even though I know it's stupid saying this because McLaren have won both titles, it's still not the right pairing for the team because both drivers will want number 1 priority. And ending tears, doesn't it? It does end in tears, like we saw with Hamilton and Rosberg at Mercedes, and who's the other 2? Vettel and Webber at Red Bull as well. When you both want number 1 priority, these things happen, and you got stupid team orders as well. So McLaren were better off keeping Ricciardo as the number 2 to Lando Norris, and Norris would have won the world title more easier last year if he had someone who would have been happy to be number 2. And again, I think it's going to cost McLaren this year for me. I think it will cost McLaren this year, both of them. If you allow both of them to race each other, you can forget about winning the retain Constructors Championship, in my opinion. Especially when you know they're not really going to have the quickest car this year as well. So Piastri, he'll leave for the end of the season. I can see him at Red Bull. I can see Piastri at Red Bull replacing Verstappen. Because I do think Verstappen will be looking for a huge challenge after this season at Red Bull. Regardless of what happens at Red Bull, in my opinion. And but yeah, especially when you got Mark Webber as a manager, as Piastri's manager, you just know Red Bull just makes sense, doesn't it, straight away for Piastri. Webber still has a good relationship with Red Bull, despite he did have a few incidents with Vettel. And having Piastri and Hadjar as teammates at Red Bull, not bad, is it? It's not bad. But yeah, McLaren, they're not going to have as a dominant car as last year, in my opinion. They may still get a couple of race wins, but I don't think they'll be in title contention, in my personal opinion. Second place, I done for Red Bull, and this might shock a few people, considering Red Bull got their own engines this year. But Red Bull are the best team on the grid for me. I know they didn't win the constructors, but in terms of the overall team, they got the best overall team on the grid. The strategists at Red Bull for Max Verstappen, GP, as we all know as well. GP. They're just so good at Red Bull. They're just so good as a team overall. Obviously, it's United now, isn't it? Obviously, Helmut Marko not going to be there anymore. GP is now taking over whole operations at Red Bull as well. Wouldn't shock me if they get Sebastian Vettel as part of the team at Red Bull. That would make sense, wouldn't it? That would make sense. Get Vettel to be the long-term replacement for Helmut Marko as well, potentially, at Red Bull. And as I was saying with Max Verstappen, he was Driver of the Year last year for me. Almost completed the comeback of comebacks in Formula 1 to try to win his 5th title, but unfortunately he didn't win his 5th title. Missed out by 2 points. That would have been added in, to be fair. 2 points. And but yes, we will. Lando Norris was a deserving champion for me. Lando Norris deserved to win the title. Yeah, I did all these calculations. If all these incidents from last season didn't happen, Norris still would have won the title for me, because I did the calculations. And but yeah, fucking hell, it's some effort from Verstappen, wasn't it? Some effort, and that's why he's still the best driver on the grid for me. That's why Verstappen's still the best driver on the grid. He shouldn't have been anywhere near chancing for the title against the most dominant car of that season in the McLaren. And Max Verstappen was still chancing them in a very slow Red Bull car. This shows he's the best driver on the grid, Max Verstappen. It's not even close. It's not even close. And it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if Verstappen won the title this year. Wouldn't shock me at all. Because it's something I would love to see. I would love to see him win his title back. Because then he's not going to have the quickest car this year. The quickest car is going to be Mercedes this year. And I do think this is Verstappen's final season at Red Bull. I really do. Because I think he'll leave Red Bull on good terms, because he'll just want a new challenge for me. He'll want a new challenge. I can see Aston Martin all over Max Verstappen. I can't really see him at Mercedes, personally. Would it shock me if he went to Mercedes, though? No, because they will have the quickest car. While Aston Martin, I don't have a potential quick car for the years. So that's the choice for Verstappen: Mercedes or Aston Martin, isn't it? Or if Red Bull win both titles this year, which again, we don't know how Hadjar's going to do we? I think it's a 50-50 one on Isaac Hadjar, isn't it? Because Isaac Hadjar did an incredible job last year in the Racing Bulls, finishing on the podium was it in Netherlands, in Zandvoort? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? In Zandvoort. Consistently getting the points as well, Isaac Hadjar as well. And I do feel we found the driver now. We found the number 2 driver for Red Bull. I think Hadjar will do the same job as last year as he did with the Racing Bulls. Obviously, this time being the better car. I can see Hadzer being consistently in the. And see Hadzer being consistently in the points for Red Bull, and I think that's enough, isn't it, for Red Bull? Consistently getting the points as a number 2 driver, I think that's enough for Red Bull. In the sprint and in the race as well, get Hadzer in the points, and I think, yeah, he'd be perfect number 2. I think that's the job Hadzer needs to do at Red Bull. It doesn't really matter. Obviously, I think he needs to finish in the top 10 to keep a seat. And I think that'll be good enough for a number 2 driver at Red Bull. While for the number 1 driver at Red Bull, this is Max Verstappen, he isn't their only priority. And rightly so, he's the best driver on the grid. And he is the man. He's the man to challenge the 2 Mercedes for me for the driver championship this year. For the driver championship. And what went wrong for Red Bull last year and why they missed out on the driver championship was this a few moments in and there, wasn't it? Like starting him on the 1 tyres at Singapore. It's the hard compound tyres in Spain where he had that incident with Russell. It was just them moments, wasn't it? Obviously, Antonelli took him out in Austria as well. But yeah, like I said, it's all if, buts, and maybes. Max Verstappen, I think Max Verstappen for me is definitely in the top 10 players of all time. Yes, in my opinion. Maybe top 5. Maybe in the top 5. Depends what era you were living in. And Max Verstappen, he's got the ability of Ayrton Senna, and he's got the mentality of Michael Schumacher, which was a fuck you mentality. Who cares? Do all you can to win mentality. And that's why he's the best driver on the grid for me, Max Verstappen. Yeah, Max Verstappen could have the Cadillac car, and he could still get that Cadillac car on the podium, or even a potential race win. He's that good. He's so good, Max Verstappen. And he's the quickest driver. He's the quickest driver on the grid, isn't he? Max Verstappen as well. So sometimes it doesn't really matter about the car, really. But obviously he's had his one, isn't he? He has had his one, Max Verstappen, along with Fernando Alonso about these red lessons. But to be fair, they do love to mourn, both of them, don't they? Verstappen and Alonso do love to mourn. But yeah, Red Bull are still the best team on the grid for me in terms of of the strategists, GP as well. The pit wall, Red Bull as well. So Red Bull and when they get data as well. So yeah, Red Bull will be the closest answer to Mercedes. But I think Red Bull will just miss out on the constructors, and I think Max Verstappen will just miss out on the drivers as well. But again, I think it may go to the final race as well, because George Russell, I do believe George Russell and Max Verstappen title race. That's what we want to see. They don't particularly like each other. But they are the 2 best drivers. They are the 2 best drivers on the grid. Russell and Verstappen. And finally, my Drivers' Championship winners and Constructors' Championship winners is Mercedes. They're expected to be the quickest car this year. Obviously, I think this time they are prepared well for these Red lessons. They didn't prepare well for the last Red lessons in 2022, but that was because they were chancing for the title in 2021. That's what I feel will happen to McLaren. I think McLaren were too busy chancing for the Drivers' Championship right to the final race of the season. The final race of the season, that I think it will cost McLaren this season, not preparing for the Red lessons. Mercedes were definitely preparing for the Red lessons last year, especially the first half of the season as well. They had a strong end. They were one of the teams who had a strong end to the season, especially Kimi Antonelli as well. And I feel we could see another McLaren here where we could see both of them being allowed to race each other. They've got Twitter this year. I think Timmy Antonelli's on Pierre de Piastri role. I think George Russell will be given most of the priority. George Russell should be given the priority for me because he's been at the team more longer than Timmy Antonelli. And Timmy Antonelli I feel is unpaired at Piastri role at Mercedes, where I can see both of these drivers taking points of each other as well. Timmy Antonelli, very strong in the second half of the season. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Timmy Antonelli of being a driver championship contender, in my opinion. Especially when you had a lot of his strong end to the season last year, especially second half of the season as well. If he can transfer that to the first half of the season, wow, it could actually be these two battling it out. And but yeah, George Russell is the boring answer. That's everyone's pick this year to win the Driver Championship. But I said this the last couple of years, didn't I? I said this for the last couple of years where George Russell, we all saw this coming, didn't we? Where we've all seen George Russell as a potential world champion. And I think this is the year for me for George Russell. He's got the most dominant car this year. He's going to have the most dominant car this year. The quickest car this year. And I would expect George Russell to win the 2026 Formula 1 World Championship. But don't sleep on Timmy Antonelli. Don't sleep on him. Especially if both of them will be allowed to race each other, like McLaren last year, which is an absolute disaster, by the way, if you allow that to happen. Especially when you got Max Verstappen. Especially when you got Max Verstappen and Red Bull, who may have a slow start with their new engines, but they will be better than last year. Red Bull, which is why I put Red Bull to finish second in Constructors' Championship. So I don't know if they can allow both of them to race each other, because if they do, it might cost George Russell in a potential title race battle against Max Verstappen. So I actually think it will be a Russell, Verstappen, Antonelli title race for me. I actually think them three will be in the title race, because I think it's going to be similar to last year, where you get two of the drivers in the most dominant car fighting against each other. And then you have Max Verstappen involved as well. And I think it'll be the same here. For me. But I just think Mercedes will have enough points to hold off Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship come the end of the season. I think Mercedes will start more better than Red Bull. So I actually think Mercedes will already have the Constructors' Championship sealed in the first half of the season. Not sealed as in it's officially done. It'll be a long way back for the other teams to catch them in the second half of the season. But second half of the season, I think that's where Verstappen's got a chance against the two Mercedes drivers. If them two are done being able to race each other, which I think they will. I think both of them will be able to race each other, because Kimi Antonelli, for his talent, and his potential, he will want to battle for the World Championship. And it will end in tears in the end. We already saw it, didn't we? We already saw it in Mexico between the two of them, where Antonelli wouldn't get Russell by or something. So it's going to be the same here. Especially now when they're both going to have the quickest and dominant car this year. So yeah, Mercedes are my champions for both titles this year. And it's been a long time coming, hasn't it, for Mercedes? It's been a long time coming. It's been, 2021? Well, 2021 was the last Constructors' Championship win. 2020 was the last Drivers' Championship win. So it's been quite a few years, hasn't it? But how I won it, Jim Ratcliffe, who is a shareholder at Mercedes, at the moment doesn't look like he's involved. and Mercedes also all of a sudden become a quick team again. Had the quickest car then. So yeah, finally a recap. This is a recap of my season predictions. So Travis Samseth, George Russell to win Travis Samseth, Verstappen to finish second, Antonelli, Norris, Piastri, Charles Leclerc, Alonso, Hamilton, Isaac Hadjar, Carlos Sainz to finish in 10th place, Perdazzi to finish in 11th, Albon to finish in 12th, Stroll to finish in 13th, Berman to finish in 14th, Bortoletto to finish in 15th, Liam Lawson to finish in 16th, Hulkenberg to finish in 17th, Perez. No, actually, no, I got that one. That's meant to say Bottas in 18th, Perez in 19th. That's meant to say. Got that one there. Ocon to finish in 20th, Yimpa 21st, Pinto to finish bottom. And my Constructors' Championship predictions: Mercedes to win the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull to finish second, McLaren third, Ferrari fourth, Aston Martin fifth, Williams sixth, Alpine seventh, Audi in the eighth, Haas in ninth, Racing Bulls in 10th, and Tadiak to finish in the 11th place. So there are my 2026 Formula 1 season predictions. Please leave your predictions down below in the comments. Will Lando Norris and McLaren retain their titles? Will Mercedes expectedly win both titles? Will we see Red Bull return to the winner's step in terms of drivers and constructors? Or will we see Ferrari? Or am I one on Ferrari? Are Ferrari actually done be the quickest car this year from out of nowhere? Let me know down below. Let me know down below in the comments, and I will see you all for the Formula 1 Austrian Formula 3 predictions in 2 weeks' time for the season opener. Take care and see you later.